Afenyo-Markin, we are protesting your conduct in abruptly ending the nominee for the office of Deputy Attorney General on ground that I refused to withdraw my dissatisfaction of your ruling by using the word that you acted whimsical and capricious. I again added that you rudely made those expressions. We do not think that in the spirit of cooperation, you should put up such a posture. Chairman, the caucus has observed that in this afternoon's proceedings, Honorable Ahmed Jerry Shaib was the first to experience an unfair treatment at your hand. When it got to me, the leader of the caucus, there were all manner of interruption, including an interruption by the Attorney General himself, of which you curiously said you never heard. Again, the majority chief whip came in interrupting, though not into the mic. It was aimed at obstructing the smooth process of my vetting of the nominee. Eventually, you allowed him to ask a so-called follow-up question. Chairman, we've long assured the majority of our cooperation, but not when such a posture is coming from the chair. We would respect you, but where you are acting in excess of discretion, we would express it. We've had a smooth vetting since Monday in an atmosphere of mutual respect, in a very humorous atmosphere, and all nominees that appeared before us on those 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, we approved them by consensus. Without more, let me conclude as follows. That one, the minority caucus hereby rejects the nomination of the Deputy Attorney General, and that the decision of it would be solely yours as a majority caucus. For today, all other nominees, in furtherance of our protests, we are also rejecting them, and then your decision, it will remain your decision as majority caucus. God willing, tomorrow, we are receiving the president. Our understanding is that there is no vetting. On Friday, God willing, will be available. And if the posture remains same, we will advise ourselves on the next line of action. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, honorable members. In a short response, I will want to place on record that I am a very fair and just person. Honorable Jerry Ahmed was to ask 3 questions, and indeed he has asked the 3 questions. Honorable members, I take a great exception to the minority leader saying I am quizzical, capricious, and I rudely interrupted. As a chairman of the committee, I'm entitled to overrule a question. When you want to convert the appointment committee, and for that matter, the vetting room into a dancing floor, I think the just thing for me to do is overrule that particular question. In Parliament, anytime unparliamentary language is used, by our rules, you will be requested to withdraw and sometimes apologize. When you refuse to do so, he is even lucky that I have not even cited him for contempt. Honorable members, let's make progress. Honorable nominee, in 2 minutes, tell us about yourself.
Chairman, I'm grateful. Mr. Chairman, my name is Sulemana Yusif, born to Mr. Adam Sulemana Salah from Bole, and my mother, Hajia Fati Brahma Kamara, from Larbanga. I am married to Hajia Mariama Abu, who is sitting behind me, and we are blessed with 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. Mr. Chairman, I had my basic education in Bole, starting from an Arabic school to RC Primary School to Bole Experimental JSS. And then I went ahead to Damango Secondary School for my O-levels. I proceeded to Tamale Training College to be trained as a teacher. Whilst there, I wrote A-level as a private candidate. And by the grace of Allah, by the time I left Tamale Training College, God blessed me with a very beautiful grade, which I used to gain admission into the University of Ghana, then School of Administration, now Business School. I graduated I have a first degree in banking and finance as my option. I went back to Legon for my MBA in project management. Mr. Chairman, I hold also an MPhil in development finance from GIMPA. Mr. Chairman, as I speak to you, I'm just about ending my PhD program with Nobel International Business School. Indeed, I've submitted my thesis and getting ready for my defense. Mr. Chairman, I worked as a teacher and then proceeded to work with Unibank, the defunct Unibank. From Unibank, I resigned and joined EDIF, now SM Bank. And then in 2016, I decided to do politics. And so I was elected by the good people of Bole Bambwe to represent them in the 7th Parliament. And then again in 2020, they retained me. And then in 2024, I was also retained. In Parliament, I served on a few committees. I served on the Poverty Reduction Strategy Committee. I also served on the Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee, starting as a member, graduated to a deputy ranking, and ended as the ranking for the committee in the immediate past Parliament. Mr. Chairman, I have also some certificates in procurement management, in PPP, in monitoring and evaluation, just to mention a few. Mr. Chairman, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, thereafter appointed me as a nominee, and if this House approves me, he's asking me to go and help the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Mr. Chairman, my journey reflects determination and resilience and the intervention of Allah. And that is what has taken me this far. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister-Designate, I will then open the floor for members of the committee to begin asking you questions and you providing answers to those questions. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Alikle Makurugu, MP for Domi Kwabenya.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations
Thank you, Honorable.
Yes, land disputes are common problems in Ghana. Some land cases that have been litigated takes years to be able to resolve. What policies would you recommend to improve land administration in Ghana? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, let me put on record, and let me also make reference to Article 79(1) of the Constitution, and that I'm going to assist the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. And so, when it comes to policies, it is the minister who will have to come up with policies, and then at the cabinet level, when these policies are approved, mine is to assist him in ensuring that these policies are well executed. And so I am not in a position to suggest policies, but if the minister comes out with policies, I will run with those policies to ensure that we are able to deliver and deliver effectively. Thank you.
Chair, that will be all. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Alassane Umar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Alhaji Sulemana, congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman.
I know you can do the work, but I have one question for you. And this is about the disparity, what accounts for the disparity between the volume of gold exported and the revenue received by the country?
Mr. Chairman, primarily, it is smuggling of gold into other neighboring countries before exporting it. And the reason is that until recently, we had imposed 3% on the export of gold. And so that makes it very unattractive. And so people with gold will smuggle it to nearby countries like Cote d'Ivoire. For instance, Cote d'Ivoire, it is 0. And so they smuggle it to Cote d'Ivoire, and then they will now export it. In that case, the proceeds don't come back. And so you realize that there will be that kind of disparities. Let me also put on record that the previous government reduced the tax to 1%. But in some jurisdictions, like I cited, Cote d'Ivoire, it's still 0. And so if I have my way of taking it to Cote d'Ivoire and exporting it there, I'm a business person. That is what I would do, rationally. Thank you.
Thank you. The other question is about land swapping. Policy of government swapping lands. Have you heard about it, or when you went to the ministry, were you briefed on it? And what do you think?
Chairman, I'm grateful. Chairman, yes, I was briefed. The policy of land swap refers to a situation where, especially the Ministry of Lands, give a land to the private individuals or companies in exchange for something that they are in need of. For instance, if the ministry wants to build a regional office, let's say in Savannah region, and cannot afford the cost of it, the ministry as a policy can decide to allocate a land anywhere in this country that is attractive to this private person in lieu of the person going to put up that office. I think that is a good policy. What is important is to ensure that there's always value for money. What is important is to ensure that there's transparency in such transactions. And if these two things will hold, it is something that I believe my minister will welcome, and I will assist him in that direction. Thank you.
Don't you think continuation of it as part of the abusive, it's been abused, whereby we now call land grabbing?
Yeah, so that is a different policy altogether. Situation where public lands are companies. That is a bit different from land swap. And so, like I said, in the concept of land swap, there is transparency. Is there competitiveness in terms of how that program is rolled out? Are you allowing other people to participate so that you can be rest assured that there's value for money? If that is done, I think that is a good cause. Thank you.
Chairman, I have no doubt in his performance, and I wish him well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll proceed to give the floor to Honorable.
Chairman, for the opportunity. Honorable Nominee. Bro, and you come on.
Oh, bro.
It was in Kabanya, Eji, Kumutono.
I mean,
I have two, Chairman. In recent times, the share butter has been one of, if you like, the northern cocoa. Indeed, the last 2 years or so, the export of shea butter, Ghana was ranked the 4th largest exporter of shea butter in the last 2 years. That tree that produces shea butter is under serious threat from bushfires, but more importantly and seriously, from charcoal burners. So it's a critical thing. I know our chiefs have played a critical role in protecting the shea tree. But tell us, what role would you play in supporting your minister to be able to protect this valuable natural resource for the North? Thank you.
Chairman, it is not even in recent times that the shea tree, and for that matter, its products are seen to be equated to, let's say, cocoa. It is indeed the cocoa of the Savannah ecological area. And as I sit here, I am a beneficiary of the shea tree. My mother, I'm sure she's listening. This early morning will wake you up to go and pick shea, and part of it was used to pay your school fees. I agree with you that today that tree is under threat. It is an economic tree. It is a tree that all of us must be proud of. The question you ask is, what do we do to ensure that that tree survives? The tree is a wild tree, and so propagating it is a challenge. The Cocoa Research Institute in Bole tried to propagate it, and it's been a problem. The surest way is to ensure that those wild trees are maintained. And so if you have a situation where we are felling those trees, it should be a source of worry. Solution. I think that it is an economic tree, and to fell economic tree is a crime. And so we need to enforce our laws. People who are seen felling shea trees should be punished, and punished severely. Let me also say this, that yes, our chiefs have done very well, and they continue to do well. But growing up as a child, it was even a taboo. When I have my revered chiefs seated here listening to me, they'll bear me witness that growing up those days, it was even a taboo for you to fell that tree. Anytime you fell that tree, you were summoned by the chief priest or to the chief palace, and you were charged. I think it's something that we have to go back to. Again, the district assemblies should also help. The district assemblies should see that tree as an economic tree, and if there's a need for them to even so that we can preserve that tree for our generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Absolutely brilliant answer. Let's do some law. I'm sure you are familiar with LI 2462.
Yes, I'm very familiar with it. At the ministry, I was briefed, and I've also listened to the president, so I have some idea as to what it is.
Very well. So should small-scale mining be banned or temporarily suspended? I know Bole, there's some mining going on in Bole area now. It's becoming the gold hub of Savannah. Tell us what your opinion is on this.
The Chairman, my understanding when you refer to small-scale mining means that small-scale artisanal mining that are legalized, that are given licenses to operate. That's my understanding of small-scale mining. If that is the case, and as long as they are given licenses to operate and they do not breach those licenses, I do not think that we should ban them, because we are told that over 3 million people are into this business of mining. And so what it means is that if you are banning them, you are simply saying that some people should not survive because that is their livelihood. And so I do not think that we should ban them completely if they are not doing anything untoward. But let me put this on record, that my minister has set up a technical working committee or team to review the mining industry and also look at the existing or the current licensing regime. I think that we will wait for that report to come. Once he receives the report and look at it very well, we will be informed as to the way forward. Thank you.
Someone to follow up on that one. So, illegal is illegal. When you are involved in illegal mining, sometimes the security forces come up to enforce the law. There are many times where excavators and other equipment are seized from illegal miners. In the past year or two, we've seen excavators confiscated, some bent, some taken away. Sometimes you can't even find where they are kept now. What's your take on this? Bent, seized, confiscated, or whatever?
Mr. Chairman, I listened to the first gentleman of our land, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and he's clear. He said that excavators that are seized should not be bent. And once the president has spoken, his words has to be enforced. And so I think that going forward, seized excavators should not be bent until he decides otherwise. Thank you.
Chairman, my last one has to do with Lands Commission. You know, I'm sure you and I have had some experiences over there. Change, why you want to help your minister change at the Lands Commission.
Yes, I was at the ministry, and if I were to talk about the happenings at the Lands Commission, it will take us a whole day. When it comes to the registering of lands in this country, a long process, and at the end of the day, some people even get fed up and stop the process. One is because they don't understand the process. So there's the need for some thorough education regarding the way lands should be registered. But beyond that, the records at Lands Commission is problematic. And that is why you have instances where people have two people having the same land. And you get to the Lands Commission and they can all trace documents there giving them ownership of the land. And so what to do is to go into what we call digitization of the records at the Lands Commission. When we do that, we are able to even sit in our homes and be able to tell whether or not a land has already been registered in somebody's name. Again, what we need to do is to decentralize the process. If you have land customary secretariat in all the districts, and people are well trained to be able to keep records and keep them very well, it will also help us in ensuring that the conflicts, the challenges, the problems that we encounter when it comes to land registration in this country are reduced to the barest minimum. Thank you.
Chairman, I note and I see the revered chiefs and queen mothers behind you, the representative of the overlord, the Yagbemura is here. You cannot afford to disappoint Gonja land. I wish you all the best. May Allah be with you.
I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. I'll give the floor to Honorable Hajia Ladi Ayamba.
Thank you, Chairman. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alayka salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. Congratulations. I have no doubt about your competencies. Although I came to Parliament before you, I observed you, followed most of your activities, your sincerity to work, your honesty, your belief, and the way you do things are most of the things that would help you in going forward. So I don't doubt your competencies at all. And by the guidance of the Almighty Allah, inshallah, I know you will make it. Now, my question, both you and I, and many others, and our revered chiefs and queen mothers behind you, we come from the northern sector. And we are well aware about land issues. And when I'm talking of land issues, I'm not even talking about the land in itself per se. But for instance, our trees, the fruit trees, the share trees, which we observe day in, day out, being cut. We cannot say our brothers and sisters should go hungry. Neither will we say our youth should continue to walk around without work. In your opinion, what will you do to assist the minister to ensure that much as we are using what nature has given us on our lands, we don't lose it completely, and not only lose it, but also face the wrath of losing those things, especially our trees, our water bodies in the northern sector. Can you tell me what you would assist your minister to do?
I'm grateful, and I can understand the passion with which the Honorable Hajia Ladi has spoken to this issue. Just as I said earlier on, the shea tree and other economic trees, the baobab tree, the kapok tree, and what have you. And she added the issue of our water bodies, very, very important to our survival. This morning, my minister held a dialogue program on small-scale mining. And even listen to the challenges that we are being confronted with when it comes to the way our water bodies are being destroyed. You will weep. To the extent that as we talk, in Western region and other parts of this country, it gets to a point where the Ghana Water Company had to shut down its water plants because of the nature of the water. Even though they are able to, as it were, treat the water, there are instances where even after treating the water, we are told there are some chemicals, there's nothing you can do about them. You can treat them. For instance, mercury. What it means that we are all drinking mercury. What it means that the aquatic animals, the fish and what have you, are all consuming this. And this is what they sell to us. And I want to say that nobody should sit, let's say, in Pusiga or let's say in Pandai and say that that's not my business. You will never know when a fish that is harvested from, let's say, central region is sold to you in Paga or any other part of this country. And so it's a national issue, and I think that I will help my minister, like he has started doing, to flush out all those who are in water bodies. Indeed, last week, he arrested 7 Chinese people and 8 Ghanaians on the Ankobra River, where they were doing illegal mining and destroying the water. What I would suggest to him, which I am already discussed with him, and he knows it, is that the arrest is not enough. They must be prosecuted. We are also told that about 845 people who were arrested between 2023 and 2024, only less than 50 of them were prosecuted. What it means is that the activity is attractive. If I can go do this and come and you don't prosecute me, and I can go and walk around, I will go. And so he wants to do, and I will support him if I get the nod. Thank you.
My second question, Mr. Chairman. My brother, much as I know and I appreciate the fact that you might have spoken about Galamsey, or incidents that have continuously occurred at the Galamsey pits, for which you and I should be very, very concerned. Many times you hear reports that it killed so many youth. Some people arrested. If you go to investigate, you realize that most of these youth, surprisingly, both men and women, they are from our northern sectors, simply because there is no job. We lose the very strong ones, the very brilliant ones. Some of them even might have come to stay. We have to us so that they don't go looking for gold.
Say is the issue of survival. There's so much unemployment, especially in our part of the world, the 5 northern regions. And that is why even when people graduate, first degree holders, they don't have jobs. And so what they want to do is to there's so much unemployment, especially in our part of the world, the 5 northern regions. And that is why even when people graduate, first degree holders, they don't have jobs. And so what they want to do is to go and do illegal mining. The natural resource there is for us, and I think that we should utilize it. What we need to do is to identify the various forms of Galamsey activities going on in this country. And I won't limit it to only the northern part of this country. I, sitting here, can identify 3 groups. There are some who are on our water bodies doing illegal mining. There are some who are also in our forest reserves, destroying the forest cover. And there are some who are on the land. Those who are on our land, we can regularize them. We can give them the technical know-how. We can assist them to get even funding. And then we can use technology to ensure that when they are even giving concessions, they are able to tell where exactly the ore is, the gold deposit is, so that they don't do it haphazardly. For instance, if you give somebody a 24-acre land, and the person is supposed to mine there and get gold, with that technology, the person starts from the very beginning of the edges of the land and start digging until he finds gold. If there's a technology, and I believe that there's a technology where they can easily be told that this is where the concentration is. They don't destroy the land, they just go and pick it. But those who are on our water bodies and our forest reserve, they should be flushed out and flushed out immediately. The issue of getting other jobs, I would have suggested that it would be in the area of agric, because that is where we have arable lands. But that will mean that we need to now have intersectorial and interministerial collaboration, where we can encourage the Ministry of Agric to go into serious commercial farming and to support farmers in those areas so that farming become attractive and some can now get jobs out of farming. Thank you.
Chairman, I'm done. I wish you all the blessings of Allah, and I say, may He be your guidance and your protector so that you can do the work as expected. Thank you.
Chairman, I'm grateful.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Roxanne Nelson Eche Dabamoko.
Chairman, may you live long. My brother, congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman.
I got to a stage we thought this won't come. But it has come. You deserve it.
Thank you, Chairman.
The work we did in the 7th and the 8th Parliament, you deserve it. And I have no doubt that you support your sector boss to deliver on the mandates of our manifesto and His Excellency, so that you can prolong our stay in this seat.
Thank you.
Now, you are going to a very important ministry, lands. And there are a lot of issues regarding this state acquisition, unbridled. Nobody says when you have money and the state is legitimately asking citizens to acquire property, you shouldn't. But the question is about unbridled acquisition of state lands, lands that are needed for state activities. As the second chair to your sector minister, would you consider reviewing this policy so that we can have public lands acquired during the First Republic for public purpose? Would you consider? Yes or no? I don't want to bother you too much.
Yes. We will consider that, because the President, upon assuming office, directed that all lands that have been processed at the various regional levels for the issuance of certificates and transfer of lands to individuals, I'm talking about lands that are public, he's asked that that should come to a halt. And a report will be submitted to him very soon. I believe that once the report is submitted to him, appropriate recommendations will be made. But I think that there should be a way to ensure that there's always transparency, there's always value for money. Thank you.
So that state property occupied by judges, not just judges, superior court judges, senior public servants, are not given to politically exposed persons. You agree with me?
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, that the President wants a report on this, but the way to go is to ensure that, but he has even banned that no political appointee should be interested in any assets that belongs to the state. That is the directive of the President. And that for me is comforting, because we need to ensure that the opportunities Ghanaians have given us as politicians, we don't shortchange them. Thank you.
So that you rather support the state to acquire more lands in addition to what is in existence. You agree with me?
Yes, so the new act that has been enacted required that some lands can be taken, and to do that there should be an escrow account where money should be put and appropriate compensations paid. Then we can now have these lands in the name of the state. Hitherto, lands have been acquired, and there are so many difficulties, or people are encroaching on those lands because compensation was not adequately paid. I think that act is resolving that matter, and so government can get more lands for public good. Thank you.
Chairman, the nominee and I spent 8 years on the public accounts with the Honorable Minister for Communications. We did some good work. And as part of the interrogations and the matters that came before us was the indolence of state institutions to secure state lands for which state institutions have been established either by an act of parliament or state institutions that are a creature of the Constitution or by constitutional instruments. And the Auditor General annually flags this matter. Now that he has the opportunity, will he assist his sector boss so that institutions like school lands, hospital lands, district assemblies, electoral commission, and other state institutions which are occupying premises acquired since colonial days take steps to secure these landed properties and proper instruments issued so that they are not encroached? Would they do that?
Chairman, I know my minister is capable of doing that, but let's put the issue in context. Lands that are owned by such institutions are their lands, and they are the ones who protect those lands. I do not think that it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to go protect those lands. Once those lands are acquired, titles given.
Chairman, that's why I put the question in context. I'm saying that you and I have discovered that that is the problem bedeviling state institutions. Indolence. They go to sleep. They don't protect their rights. So, as the second most important person in the sector today, would you assist them to do that?
Yes, so what I'm saying is that it is not the responsibility of the ministry.
So would you assist them to do that, yes or no?
Yes, we will assist them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's all I want to hear. You assist them to do that. Chairman, one other important thing that I think I want to have the nominees' views on is this issue of termination of employment. Now, every government operates based on a budget annually. The previous government, or the actual government, between January and December 2024, brought to Parliament a certain budget for its operations and got Parliament to approve that budget for its work. Now, the mandate of that government ended midnight 6 January 2025. And yet they decided to employ thousands of people to encumber the economic opportunities of the new government for which there is no budget provided. And the new government is saying, I want to review that process. So the thousands of people that they employed, they supposedly employed without any budget, should be subject to a review. Do you consider that a good policy?
Yes, so it is a good policy. It is a good policy to the extent that when you do wrong things, somebody will have to do something to correct it. I can't imagine a situation where you will go ahead to employ people when you don't have a budget for them. How then are they going to be paid? And I think it's even in the interest of those who have been asked to go home and start looking for other jobs, rather than allowing them to work, and now at the end of the day, there won't be money for them to be paid. And I think that it's a national conversation that we should all trigger and ensure that governments, when they are leaving, they don't rush in employing people just to satisfy party faithfuls and what have you, but rather ensure that if you want to help them well. But Chairman, let me just add this. I was on the same committee with you when the Public Accounts Committee, when I raised the issue of the services, our security services, recruiting people without any advertisements. And when I asked them, I was told that they advertised 3 years ago and that they were still taking people from the backlog. And the question I asked was, what about those who were not qualified at the time of the advert and now they are qualified? Are you not excluding them from the process? And is that fair? And so these are some of the things that we should engage ourselves with. By law, make it transparent, let everybody go out there and bid. Go through the process. If they are qualified, you give them. If they don't qualify, they will understand that at least they've been given the opportunity. By instances where you sit in the comfort of your office and select people and recruit them, and we are asked to ask them to go home for the proper thing to be done, I think is the way to go. Thank you.
Chairman, thank you very much. Finally, my brother, you and I come from constituencies that are past the mighty Volta. And we have over 52 districts that constitute the mighty Volta Basin. Your grandfather's land and my grandmother's land got lost in the course of constructing the mighty Volta Dam. Some communities have received compensation, others have not. And as the second most powerful person in that sector, you will consider reviewing the compensation regime for these communities and traditional areas who lost their lands, so that finality will be brought to this matter after 50 years. You will consider to do that.
I think my able minister is here. I just will pray that you give me the nod. When I get there, I will consult with him, and I believe in him. Appropriate action will be taken to ensure that those who are affected are happy. Thank you.
Chairman, once more, let me congratulate my brother, and I wish him all the best. I know that he will succeed. We have your back. In Parliament, we have your back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Roxanne Dafamoko. I will now give the floor to Honorable George Kwaku Rikete, the Vice Chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Nominee, my brother, congratulations.
Thank you, boss. Thank you, Chairman.
One thing that is important, being a deputy minister, is if you are lucky to have a good relationship with your boss. And I know you have a good relationship with the minister, and that is key. Now, for you to be able to effectively support your minister, you must have a good appreciation of the area that you are going to be in. An appreciation being that not necessarily, you don't need not a technical science, but at least there are things there that you have a view on. For instance, two major things in that ministry is about land and small-scale mining issues. We have, the minister is going to do the policy bit, the ideas on how you will, resolve issues there, and you will provide the support that is needed for your minister to be able to achieve that. But to be able to have a prescription to an illness, you must understand what the illness is. In your view, what do you think is the illness with our land issues? In short, because I'm sure you might need a whole day for that, but very short. What is happening especially in the last, say, 8 years, that we have issues of land grabbing. You know, these things have escalated. People used to take government land, but it looks like within a shortest possible time, these things have just gone up. Now you come to the small scale, which is the other side of things. That's a tough ministry, actually. You come to that, you realize that small scale mining is actually something that it's a prison of small scale people, which is ordinary Ghanaian who wants to go into mining. Now, you raise an issue, which is, again, may say one of the reasons, which is about unemployment, poverty, and all that. But if you want to be a small-scale miner, the laws are there. And the entry of barrier to go into small-scale farm is actually low. It doesn't cost that much to do that as you would have if you want to go into big mining. So why don't people just go and take the license and do the necessary things to do small-scale mining? But we've gotten ourselves into this situation that we are in at the moment. What is your view? We're looking at the illness. The solutions may be there. It has been prescribed, but some hasn't worked in the last 8 years. So what is the illness in the land area and in the small-scale mining area, with the issue of galamsey and all that, which people should have just gone and take a license to do it? What is the illness? My honorable brother.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, let me state that I'm happy my senior brother is aware that I have a very good working relationship with the minister. Indeed, I worked under him as the deputy ranking, and he recommended me to be his ranking at Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee. It is also on record that you cannot become a deputy minister to somebody because by constitution, Article 79(1), the president will have to consult the minister in appointing a deputy minister. And I believe that he was consulted. And because he has that confidence in me, that is why he's accepting to work with me. Now to your question. One, the issue of land and land grabbing. I earlier on said that is a national issue. It's an issue that we have to take a second look at. And that is why the president said that when it comes to public lands, none of his appointees should be interested in that. And then again, he has asked that even those that they have started processing before he came, they should stop. Now, generally, the issue of land in this country is problematic because of the fact that we have not been able to have proper record keeping. And that's where the problem starts. Proper records keeping and also demarcation of the lands. That I think we should do. And to do this, we will need a modern, if you like, land administration system, which I believe my minister spoke about, and he's committed to ensuring that by the time he leaves office, he's able to deliver that, and that will solve some of the problems that we are encountering when it comes to land dispute. Now to the issue of galamsey. Are you saying that why don't people just go and register instead of involving themselves in illegality? One, we will require some stakeholder engagement, some education. There are people who are doing this mining and do not even know where the EPA office is, and they do not even know where the Minerals Commission's office is. What they have seen is that there's a land and there's gold there, and they want it, so they will have to go and mine it. We will need some thorough education, okay, as to what it takes to be able to come out or to register a small-scale mining and get a concession, get certificates to be able to do that. Beyond that, you must also teach them how to do it and do it well. And that's what I spoke to in my earlier submission. And so, like I said, my minister has asked that a committee should go into this issue and make a proper recommendation in terms of the way forward. And he's waiting for the report. And when the report comes, I believe that in the shortest possible time, you will see a change in the administration or in the handling of these issues of galamsey and small-scale mining? Thank you.
Amela, congratulations. God bless you.
I'm grateful, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Yusif Sulemana. Let me add my voice in congratulating you. I have no doubts about your integrity. I have been in Parliament with you for some time, and I know you can deliver on your mandate as a Deputy Minister responsible for lands and natural resources. Once again, congratulations. Let me proceed to acknowledge our revered chiefs seated behind you. First on the list is Hajia Mariama Abu, a spouse of the nominee. Then His Excellency Mankpangura Jakpa Acho, Ade Achode Boreni the first, Rep of Yangboura and a member of the Council of States. Mr. Sulemana Adams, linguist of Yangboura. Dr. Abu Sakara Foster, Rep of Kakula Saura, and a former flag bearer of CPP. Solawura Idrisu Abdullahi Nugbanso, a rep of Bolewura. Duyaura Kasim Amankwa Boresa, the first, rep of Bolewura. His Excellency Tingaura Sedu Samson Abudu, member of Council of State for Savannah region. Honorable Salisu Biawurebi, Savannah Regional Minister. Alhaji Moro Sedu, alias Man Blessing, NDC Savannah Regional Chairman. Chief Jawula Okitika the first, Gonja Chief of Greater Accra. Mr. Abubakar Suleiman Mahama Abu Fresh, brother of the nominee. You are most welcome.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, Muntaokilo, former member for Damango,
And now see you.
Honorable
of Ghana.
Nelson, former member for Daboya. You are all welcome. Dachumo, you are welcome. Honorable nominee, you are discharged. You hear from the committee.
Chairman, I'm very grateful. Thank you.
We don't clap here.